Hey, Kat, just grab your thing. We're going to start doing the day 5 notes. So we're on the second page. Last day, we started talking about bed mass. Let's just start off with the hardest example on this page. All right? And the tip that I gave you guys is, hey, make something that is kind of big into smaller parts. We split it up in smaller parts by looking for adding signs and subtracting signs, not in brackets, because that's the very last step we do, right? Thomas, can you swing your leg inside so you don't get distracted over there? Thank you. So, looking at E here, spot the plus or minus signs, not in the brackets. Do you see any? Can you tell me the location of them? Where are they? Right? How many do you see? All right? So looking at E, any plus or minus signs, not inside the brackets. Gage.
Yeah.
How many do you see, Gage?
By 5.
By the 5. Good. I see one here. All right.
And in between 2 and 4.
In between the 2 and 4. Good. So now, this is how we separate. Right? We separate between these pieces. So I'm going to do a red piece here, I'm going to do a blue piece here, and I'll do a green piece here. These are all independent, right? We pick a color, we pick a piece, and we work it all the way down to a single number, then we move on to a different piece. We work vertically, not horizontally. You're going to make less mistakes going downwards. We do one calculation, we write down the rest of the stuff. So, Thomas, red, blue, or green, what piece do you want to start with?
Red.
Red? Okay, so we ignore everything else. We have an exponent as our operation. So we have 5 exponent 2. Is that the number 10?
Yes.
No, that's the most common mistake students make with exponents. 5 exponent 2 does not mean 5 times 2. Jaden, what does it mean?
5 times 5.
It means 5 times 5. And if you need to write it down as a little baby step above it, go for it. I don't think you guys have to if you're good at it. But if you need to write down 5 times 5 just to remind you what it means, that's fine. So that's 25. So that piece is done. I have a plus sign. All right, Gage, blue or green?
Blue.
Blue. You don't have to go left to right. You guys realize that, right? Okay, so I see more than one math operation there. What operations do you see? Gage?
5 minus 2.
So, yeah. Yeah. So, spot the operations, right? First, you need to use bed mass to figure out which one to do first, and Gage is right. Okay, we do the stuff inside of brackets first. B is the first thing in bed mass, so we are going to do, let's go purple, this calculation first. 5 minus 2. What number do you get? 3. Thank you, Thomas. Okay, we do that calculation, then we write the rest of the part that we haven't done any calculations with. So we haven't touched this 3 and the times yet. So I'm going to write that down. 3 and a times. I'm ignoring all the other stuff. I'm going to bring this down to a single number. All right? So you go 3 times 3, we get the number 9. Thank you. Okay. That's down to a single number. Don't worry that not everything's on the same line. That's fine. We'll fix that out at the end, right? We got the red down to a single number. We got the blue down to a single number. Down for the green. All right? How many operations do we see there? 2. All right? Same situation as last time. We have, this is times green, a times and a plus, right? And we do the brackets first, right? So Carson, what's the answer for inside the brackets? 3. So let's do gray this time. We do the brackets. 2 plus 3. 1 is 3. We keep everything else the same that we haven't touched yet. Okay. Then we calculate this. What number do you get?
12.
Close. The 12 is right. Cash?
Oh, I got rid of my one.
All right. Gauge. Negative 12. A positive times a negative, right? That's the thing for this year. You gotta watch out for the signs. And this is green, so I'll do negative 12. Okay. Now, each part is to a single number. We bring all the numbers down to the same line, and we make sure we have those symbols in between us down. So I'm going to bring this down here. I have a 25 to the bottom here. I'm going to do that there. Then I have a plus sign between this and the next number. Then I have a 9 here. Then I'm going to bring this down. I have a plus, minus 12. And I'll put an equal sign. Right? When you work vertically, look how nice and clean this is. And you can tell where your mistake is if you make a mistake. You go, oh, where did this number came from? It came from right above it. If you work left and right, mathematically it's not incorrect to do that. But it's hard to spot errors. You go, oh, where did this come from? It came from somewhere way over here. You'll make a mistake doing that, or you'll forget to copy something down. Yes, Carson?
I always have an arrow without the main line. It's just two lines that go together. One line starts from one of the numbers that you put in,
Yeah.
goes into the middle, the other comes from the other.
That should be fine. I'll have a look at it, but yeah.
Whoever is.
As long as somebody can follow it, right? That's it. So now, sometimes when we do this, we'll end up with two signs next to each other. In that case, you want to combine those two signs. A plus and a minus becomes what symbol? A plus or minus? Thank you. So I'm going to combine these together and just write down a minus. So 25 plus 9 minus 12. Adding and subtracting left to right. So 25 plus 9, we have 34. 34 minus 12, what number do we have? Jaden?
22.
Yes, excellent. Right? Now, these calculations can get messy. Right? So we just put a line here or put the answer in a box or something like that. So it's easy to spot where your answer is. Right? And if you can handle that bad math question, you can probably handle just about any kind of bad math questions I'm going to do. Yes, Jaden?
Can I just go back here?
How about we finish our notes first and then we do the assignment. All right? Okay. So let's just do C, and we'll move on to the back side of the page, next page. Okay. Plus and minus is not inside brackets. Do you see any? Jaden, T.
There's 2.
Which ones? Where are they?
The minus right in the middle being the first one.
Yeah, so the minus here.
And then the plus at the end.
Okay, there.
And, oh no.
So the other minuses and pluses don't count. They're inside of brackets, right? So,
Division.
nope.
That don't count.
So we're using this to break up the equation, right? So Thomas, the trick we're using is, hey, bedmass, adding and subtracting is the very last thing we're going to do. So that means everything else happens before it. So that way we can break this up into smaller pieces. Okay? So we have a piece here, we have a piece here, and we have a piece here. Okay? Not so hard. What are we going to do first? Jaden?
The plus 10 divided by -2.
Yeah. So, doesn't matter. Jaden picked to do green first, plus 10 divided by -2. What number do we get, Carson?
10 divided by 2 it equals 5, and a positive divided by a negative equals a negative, so it's -5.
-5.
Also, it's kind of hard to do any of the other two because there's no equation.
Yeah. So now the other ones aren't equations. They're just numbers, right? Are there, and the brackets are there to kind of just help you if something's positive or negative. So now we can just copy everything else out. -2, copy the minus sign, plus 8, right? Anywhere where you see double signs right next to each other, not skipped by a number, right next to each other, is when you combine them together. All right? So, I see double signs here. What do those two signs combine to make? Plus. Thank you, Thomas. And I see double signs here.
Positive.
Plus. So, if it helps, you can rewrite this, or I'll be happy with you just writing on top of it. Depends on how confused you get. I'll rewrite it this time. Right? So, all right, so put a little equal sign. Start from our left, we work our way across. -2 plus 5, do that calculation first. What number do you get? Negative 2 plus 5.
7. 3. Oh, wait.
3. We're at negative 2 and we're going right 5. Alright? So we get 3 here. Now, you can do it in your head or you can write it down. That's fine. That's 3. Then you have a plus 8 sitting there. And 3 plus 8, dear God, what do we have?
3 plus 8 is 11.
Nice. Thank you, dear God. 11. A line or a double line or a square. You'll see all these different ways of people highlight it. Now, too many brackets here. This is how junior math classes show numbers, is it really highlights something as negative or positive. But it really makes something look a lot more complicated than it really is with extra things that you really don't need. So moving forward, we are going to get rid of, on the 3rd page, all these extra brackets. Okay? It makes it cleaner to look at, but it does add some ambiguity, which makes it maybe a little bit harder to interpret. So there's pros and cons. For example, everything up to here, I would have wrote negative 2 times 3 like this, positive 3 like this. Now this statement can be rewritten many different ways and means the same thing. Yes, Carson?
Most calculators have a smaller subtraction sign that makes a negative.
Yeah.
Oh, we're almost done this.
Yeah.
Subtraction.
Yeah, so if you're using your calculator, you have to make sure that if the number is negative, you use the negative button on your calculator instead of a subtraction. It'll lead to errors.
Although some calculators still know what you mean.
Depends what you're doing. All right, so now, I want to show you a whole bunch of different ways this exact same calculation can be shown. Right? So we have negative 2 times positive 3 like this. I could have the exact same thing. Instead of a time symbol, a dot in between. The dot and the time symbol means the same thing. Okay? Right? When we get moved on in the course, we start using x's and y's, so we avoid using the x time symbol because it looks like the letter x. Right? You don't want to get those two things confused. Okay, I could do this exact same statement without a times or without a dot. I could go negative 2.
Because don't 2 brackets equal x, which makes times?
Yeah, if you have 2 brackets touching each other, it means times. Right? Now, so we're getting rid of extra information. Now, we also don't need to show pluses for positive numbers. So this whole thing could be written as negative 2 bracket 3 like this. Right? Why show plus signs? Is it an adding sign? Is it a positive sign? A number by itself automatically is positive unless you have a little negative number in front of it. Right? So we're cleaning it all up. Right? Or, why do we need to put brackets around the positive number? We can go negative 2 times 3 like this. Right? Or get rid of the brackets altogether and just negative 2 times 3. Right? So this is what we started off with. I can give you any different way. It all means the same thing. And you need to be able to interpret that in your mind. That makes it a little bit more difficult. Right? Because the pluses and signs and minus signs kind of disappear. Right? So another thing that students sometimes struggle with is with that minus symbol. Because sometimes a minus symbol means that we're subtracting. Sometimes a minus symbol means that we're a negative number. When is it one situation? When is it the other situation? Right? So we got a whole bunch of different scenarios here. So here, that dash, does it mean negative 2 or does it mean subtract?
Subtract.
Subtract. Okay. Let's go orange this time. That one. Does it mean negative or does it mean subtract? Lyndon?
Negative.
Correct. Okay. Let's do green this time. This one. Thomas, negative or subtract?
Subtract.
Good. Your intuitions are good. Okay, we have two of them here. Let's go orange and let's go yellow. Okay. Orange dash, Jaden.
Subtract.
Subtract. Thomas, yellow one.
Negative.
Correct. All right, so here's the thing. I like the people who are putting up their hands up. They show me that they're getting it. But there's only like 6 or 7 guys putting their hands up. So I'm not sure if everybody's getting it when this what. If the symbol is between two numbers, it's subtracting. If the symbol is not between two numbers, it means negative. So there's nothing in front of this, it is negative. Right? It's between two numbers, subtract. Between two numbers, subtract. Here, to the left of this, is a bracket, not a number. So that's a negative. Right? Okay. Last one here. Let's go green and blue. Green one, Bryce. Subtract. Blue one, Manraj. Negative. All right? To the left of it is no number. Right? So it makes a difference in when we're calculating. All right. So let's do some calculations. Now that we can point out if something's negative or positive,
I don't have that one. It's like way up here.
just fold it open a little bit there. Yes, Carson. All right. He's done it already.
I did.
Yeah. Oh wait.
I'm done.
It's right there.
Oh, where is it?
It's right here.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Thomas. All right.
Hide and seek.
So, plus minus signs, not inside of brackets. Do you see any?
Yes.
Yes, Thomas, where?
At the front of the two. Or at the in front of the two.
In front of the two, I have this here. Is that a minus symbol?
Negative.
It's negative, so that doesn't count to separate it.
No, that one. No,
Behind the two.
behind the two.
Behind the two counts. All right? In front of the two doesn't count because that's a negative sign. That's not a minus sign. All right, so this breaks it up into two parts. Part here and a part over here. We've done questions like this on the first page. But this is so much nicer. A lot less brackets. A lot of brackets instead of brackets. Right? Okay. Looking at this, the first thing we do is we tackle the brackets. Inside the brackets is more than one math operation. I see an operation here, and I see an operation there. Which one do we do first? Peyton? Multiplication. So, working vertically. 4 times 2. Do that one first. Now let's do that in, let's say orange. That is 8. Do that calculation. Anything that you haven't used, bring it down. The 4 and 2 combine to make the 8. Then we have the minus 5 left over. Next one. What's 8 minus 5? Adrian.
3.
Thank you. 8 minus 5 gives us a 3. We took this part down to a single number. We can go look at other parts here. This is a single thing here. We bring it down. We got a minus 2 and we have a plus sign. So if you want, you can put the little arrow on there. All right. And am I good to go?
No.
No. Why not?
We didn't use
See? Did it on purpose. So often we get carried away doing a calculation. we forget something. I forgot this 3 on the outside, right? I forgot this 3 here. So we still have that we need to do, right? Okay, so now, do I go -2 plus 3? Or do I go 3 times 3? Which one do I do first?
3 times 3.
3 times 3. Remember, we got to do times before adding. That's why this thing's supposed to be last. So I'm just trying to highlight one of the biggest mistakes the students make. And on this question, I'll talk about it next year with you guys, if you guys have me, because I teach half the grade 9s, right? This is a very common mistake. Most students will do the brackets first, then they'll go -2 plus 3. They'll do that calculation, right? So you have -2 plus 9, we get 7. That's done. All right. I want you to see if you can do this one by yourself. Do this question by yourself. There you, all right? All right. So, good. Yes, it is. First step, identify the minus signs after he gets back. There's a part here, a part here, and a part here. All right, so you can start from the left side. So the most common error people do with this, they'll go 2 times 3 and write down 6. That's not what this means. Remember, this means 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and another 2, 4 times 2 gives us 8. That's 8.
Is it -6?
We're getting there, Cash. Green. A dot means multiply. 2 times 3 is 6. So I'll do that in green. In purple, we need to do brackets first. So we need to do the calculation in the bracket here, which is dividing. So 6 divided by 3 gives us a 2. We bring everything down. A 4 touching a bracket. There's got to be a math operation in there. Is it plus, minus, divide, times? What is it?
Times.
Times. A number touching a bracket means times. Right? So this is times. So that's 8. I'll do that in purple. So everything's down to a single number. Right? We just bring everything down to the same level and make sure we bring the signs in between. So we have an 8 here. We have a 6 here. We have a minus sign and a minus sign. Put all equals in. So 8 minus 6, right, is 2. And 2 minus 8, -6. Guys, that is it.
I definitely got that right.
I had 2 on